Hello. Did you know that in January of 2020, the CDC reported over 60 vaping related deaths and over 2,500 hospitalization cases in the United States? You're probably asking yourself, how does something so small like e cigarettes cause so much damage to the human body? My name is Alexander Aponte, and my topic is damaging chemicals and concerns in e cigarettes. Before diving deep into detail about how damaging and concerning e cigarettes have been, I want to talk about the structure and the basic use of e-cigarettes. An electric cigarette is a handheld battery-powered vaporizer that is used to mimic the same stimulation you receive from a regular cigarette, but with no tobacco combustion. The main structure of an e-cigarette consists of a mouthpiece, also known as a drip tip, the cartridge where the e-liquid is stored, the heating element, a microprocessor, a battery, and an LED light at the end. The most dangerous part about e-cigarettes are the chemical substances found in e-liquids. There are over 50 chemical substances found in e-cigarettes. The exposure to these chemicals listed below can be harmful to the health of a consumer. Some to list are acetone, benzene, cadmium, chromium, formaldehyde, lead, tin, nickel, and most importantly, nicotine. The application of e-cigarettes is the use of an e-cigarette. When using one, you have to inhale it. Once it's being inhaled, the e-liquid comes in contact with the coil, and the e-liquid is heated from 100 to 250 degrees Celsius. Once the e-liquid is heated, it becomes an aerosol, also known as a vapor. The vapor is then out through the mouthpiece into your mouth, down to your lungs. The nicotine in the aerosol binds to the nicotine receptors of the brain and releases neurotransmitters such as norepinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine. These neurotransmitters are released and create the pleasurable buzz for a short duration. On the picture in the top right, you see the neurotransmitters that are released from nicotine. Out of 3 that we wrote, there are 2. Dopamine gives off pleasure and appetite suppression. Serotonin gives off mood modulation and appetite suppression as well. This shows that people that deal with stressful days or have depression and anxiety look for these e-cigarettes or vapes as ways to change their mood. Also in the bottom left, right, you see that there are 3 element compounds of serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. And this graph shows the basic operations of an e-cigarette. There are 2 ways to initially start this. One is inhalation, which is the initial puff, and then pressing the button. Once those steps are done, the e-liquid is then transferred to aerosol generator. The e-liquid is then converted into aerosol. The aerosol is then processed further as it moves through the mouthpiece. The aerosol enters the mouth, and then the puff ends as the microprocessor cuts the power. Important facts of e-cigarettes that I found while doing my research was that the amount of nicotine in disposable cartridge of Juul Pods, which is a popular brand of e-cigarettes, is roughly equal to the amount of nicotine in a single pack of cigarettes, which contains 20 cigarettes. If you look at the right, you will see the size of a Juul Pod and how small it is with the liquid and how that equates to 20 cigarettes in one single pack. The facts now states that vaping users' ranges of spending are $8 per day, $56 per week, $240 a month, $2,880 a year. This shows that many individuals are willing to spend money on these e-cigarettes and vaping to potentially damage their body. Researchers say that vaping e-cigarettes can increase your odds of developing a respiratory disease by 95%. Also, the aerosol consumed from an e-cigarette contains nicotine and other substances that can cause lung disease, heart disease, and cancer. 2 chemical substances found, glycerin and propylene glycol, are substances that can irritate the airway when breathing and could possibly lose function of your lungs. Finally, nicotine exposure during adolescence and young adulthood creates an addiction and can potentially harm a developing brain. I found this topic of e-cigarettes interesting due to the amount of dangerous chemical substances consumed in the lungs that have been linked to cause cancer and lung disease. Also, with the several dangerous chemicals known to be found in e-cigarette, it is interesting to discover that the usage is increased yearly for young kids and adults through the grades of middle school through college. When doing my research of how dangerous this can be to kids at a young age, I found 2 surveys. I found one from the University of Michigan that states that secondary students who have vaped nicotine in the past month has doubled since 2017. It shows that 12th graders have gone up from 11% to 25%. 10th graders have risen from 8% to 20%. And 8th graders have gone from 4% to 9%. In this graph in the middle, it shows the exact increased from 2015 all the way to 2018, from 12th, 10th college students and 8th graders. My next survey that I found was National Youth Tobacco Survey, which states that vaping by friends or family is a common reason for some individuals to begin. In 2016, 39% of 6th graders through 12th graders of students during the survey stated that they started vaping because a family member or friend did. The main controversy on e-cigarettes that I found during my research was in 2017, Congress and Donald Trump began the process to pass a law to increase the age to buy tobacco and vaping products. This process began as there was an outbreak of vaping-related illnesses that included 34 deaths. In 2020 of this year, Congress approved a law to raise the age to 21 for the purchase and consumption of e-cigarette and tobacco products. The passing of this law led to great benefits health-wise. Senator Brian Schatz, Senator of Hawaii, stated, "This is a big win for public health and will protect our kids and save lives." How this relates to my career path as a physical therapist: when you inhale and consume these dangerous chemicals in e-cigarettes, it results in lung illnesses, diseases, and reduction in lung function. One of the possible paths that I have as a physical therapist would be to become a respiratory physical therapist, which would allow me to provide care for patients with lung complications and restore their full function in their lungs. Here are my references from all the research I did on e-cigarettes and how damaging they can be and concerning. And I hope you enjoyed my project. Thank you very much for watching.